Hey, welcome back, everybody. It's time for another Daily Nipah. Rika Furude Simulator 25. If you'd like to join yourself, it's absolutely free up here at socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io. I know it's a little hard to see at the moment. But it may be easier to see when the screen comes up in a bit. And last time we were also listening to the Socks Make People Sexy Game of the Year podcast, which we will also be continuing here today. As soon as I can find it, there we go. Alright, let's check out what Rika has for us first. Rika? Alright, Rika has found their way into the family sewer grate, which is that. And, I think there's a mirror there. That's right, Rika. Let's get a roll in here real quick. Alright, not bad. So unfortunately, no jelly beans today. I have bean boozled my last boozled bean. But let's continue to the podcast.
John!
John!
What?
I'm so bad. at
John!
this. John, where's our listener list?
He is muted right now.
John, you're muted right now. You have muted for the most important listener list.
You're right, I did. I'm sorry.
The most important
Fucked up,
listeners,
John.
I realized that if the person who sent this list in, if they ever fail to send us a list, we can never do this show again.
Oh,
That's it.
Yeah,
It's the end of an era.
this is what keeps us going.
it's
This
true.
is the only reason I do these every year.
And that's our list from Dawn, 1989. Thank you so much,
Our
as
favorite
always.
listener.
You're all our favorite, but Dawn, you're our favoritist.
Yeah.
Hello, dear members of the Sockscast, and John.
John?
Never mind, take it back. Least favorite. You forgot? I forgot the bit.
It's my favorite bit every year. It's the only reason I do this show.
Fucking throw this in the list in the garbage. I think normally
pretty funny.
Polly reads this one, so
That's pretty
I don't know if
funny.
I've had to read it myself before. This is fucking hell. This has been quite the year for many. The question on everybody's mind is likely: can we blame John and the Saga games for that? I did it, yo. I ruined everything. Besides the sagas. We shouldn't, but we definitely could. A more productive use of our time is to make Game of the Year lists for the Sockscast, so I'd like to give that a try. Game number 3, Disney Dreamlight Valley. Jokingly, I would say, this is basically Animal Crossing with characters you know instead of random animal OCs. I had a good time with it thanks to the relaxing structure and honestly good use of a license. Why has this game the charming crossover interaction of Disney characters that is mostly lacking in Kingdom Hearts? Good fucking question. I honestly would have ranked it much higher if there wasn't the option to spend real money in this game. You don't need to do it at all to play and finish this game, but I will subtract points for that. The gacha players lament.
Yep.
Yeah. Don't
Game
like
number
it.
2, Sonic X Shadow Generations. Now, this is a pleasant surprise.
Sonic.
One of the better.
So many people played this and loved it.
That makes me happy. I'm really glad that this one turned out like decent. I think I'm done after Frontier.
Yeah, this is built on the Frontier engine, so...
Yeah, I think I'm done after Frontier. Now, this is a pleasant surprise. One of the better 3D Sonic games got a nice update with a new campaign about Shadow the Hedgehog, the favorite character of edgy little boys pretending to be teens. It is also a very entertaining game with good controls, great levels, amazing bosses, and a fair challenge. Not to mention that gamers flipping out about changing the script of the original game is utterly hilarious, since Sonic Generations barely had any story, and about 20% of the script was other characters warning you about homing shots in the final battle.
Yeah, it's a good.
It was a dunk.
20%, it was 50%.
Yeah, it was about 50.
Game number 1, Blast Brigade versus the Evil Legend of Dr. Creed. I
Whoa.
was genuinely surprised how much
Blast
I like this
Brigade.
Metroidvania meets side-scrolling shooter. It weirdly feels like the Contra Metroidvania we
Blast
never got.
Brigade.
The core gameplay is rock solid, slowly expanding the movement of the characters with few but really impactful movement upgrades that by the end of the game allow you to pull some insane moves. The bosses are the real highlight, and you will die a few times to most of them before being able to take them down. It also helps that the game has a ton of charm and allows for some funny character interaction. plus a lot of voice acting and even a few animated cutscenes. The game is also relentlessly stupid in the best way. The final movement upgrade allows all-American hero Jeff Jefferson to summon an eagle. that will give him limited flying
Jefferson?
ability. I hope you have fun with your own lists, and I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
Write that game down for me, please.
Yeah, we may need to check that one out.
I think that one needs that one merits a look.
Point Ollie at. Boop, boop, boop. There we go.
There you go.
Cool. All right, what's next?
What is next?
My number
We
8.
have Rex
Yeah.
number 8. 8.
8.
8.
8. 8. What
Every
the fuck?
time.
8. 8. 8.
8.
8.
8. Fuck is happening?
We'll just get right to
8.
it. My number 8 is Grand Blue Fantasy Relink.
Oh,
There we go.
Yeah.
This is the most anime to ever anime. It is. This game has a volume. That volume is 11. It never stops.
This is the loudness wars of video games.
It is like. It has like one stage at the start that is like kind of a normal PSO area. And then after that, it just turns the volume up to 10 and then 11 for the entire rest of the runtime.
Fuck yeah.
It is like a little exhausting with how intense it is at all moments. Like,
Good lord.
it is like the climax of 100
That's I was exactly about to ask you for Wonderful 101.
Wonderful 101 for the entire runtime,
Oh
practically.
my
Christ.
god.
Very directly similar right at the very end.
Oh my god.
I considered cutting it because there are things about it that drive me nuts. Like,
Yeah.
one is that it is a little exhausting. Two is that, like, so if he said, oh, there weren't many updates and how, like, it's not a live service game.
Mm-hmm.
And it's so funny when it's like, my perspective of this was, oh, this is totally a live service game. It's grindy as fuck once you beat it.
Mm-hmm.
Where other people were like, there's not enough grind to do the end game. And I'm just like, what do you... This game has one of the strangest problems I've ever seen where
Huh.
once you're like strong enough, you hit the damage cap.
Mm-hmm.
And so the only way to get your character stronger is to get certain items that raise your damage cap. And I just think
I see.
that's like really not fun. Like you have all these
Yeah.
items that are like,
Sounds very gotcha-y.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
not even a paid thing though. That's what's weird. Is like there's minimal amounts of DLC. There's not like an infinite
but the
shovel
whole,
money
like,
and
a method to uncap your damage feels very gotcha.
It does.
Yeah,
It does. I don't like
you have
that.
to like get certain items in order to unlock your level cap. Getting to the level cap is easy compared to getting
Yeah,
those
that's
items.
lame.
it's just a very strange decision. It's where it's like
That's lame.
I have upgrade slots that are like, oh, deal 40% more damage from behind, but then eventually all of those start doing nothing, and the only thing that'll do anything is raise damage cap 10%, raise damage cap 10%. It's just a very strange choice that made like the post game really work for
Lame?
me. That said, like you play the main campaign and it's amazing. It's 10-10 nonstop. I mean, the story is fine. Like I didn't know these characters in this world, but I had a good time with it. Like it's enough about original characters to this game that you're not going to be like particularly lost.
It's the coolest triple double we've
And
ever
then
gotten.
once you beat it, they leave one thread hanging and then
2,
go,
4, 4, 6,
anyways,
6?
do some
Let's go.
grinding for a bit. So you grind for like 10 hours. Maybe that's on the high end, but I put it down and then I came back and I did like the last 5 in one night. Not one night, but like a couple evenings. And then you get like the true climactic ending, which goes really hard again. I was like, actually, yeah, this game rolls on, it's on the list. But then playing any more after that
And
part
strong,
was
you'd be
just like,
surprised.
I only see one way to get my character stronger, and that's to get lucky with damage cap.
drops.
Specifically
Lame.
damage cap stuff. But also, they unlock the ability to play the campaign on very hard, and I'm just like, I'll probably still try that out at some point.
Yeah.
Like, it's good when you want to play the game again,
Yeah,
I guess.
absolutely.
The Wonderful 101 comparison makes me happy. I've listened to Grand Blue music. I've looked at Grand Blue character art.
Yeah.
I've soaked in Grand Blue. It's just like the most. I think it's the gotcha that is the most like aesthetically appealing to
Definitely.
me.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna fucking play it, but hey, I really want to play this, and I really want to play Versus.
There's 2 key moments for this. One is
It's
like
gorgeous.
basically doing the Wonderful 101 ending, but with dragons.
Fuck yeah.
Because instead of sci-fi, it's in spaceships, it's dragons. Like it's a huge part of it. Like they just go real big. And there's one area where it's like they take an episode of Princess Connect Redive season 2 and just have you play through an extremely similar scenario where you're fighting like this 200-foot tall golem, and you just go, that's not gonna work, and then they make it work.
Yeah.
It's just an incredibly cool set piece in a game full of nothing but incredibly cool set pieces. Like I thought this game was ending. This is the last chapter 3 times. There's like, I forget the actual numbers, but I thought, oh, chapter 8's the last one. Oh, chapter 9 is the last one. Okay, this one actually says final chapter. And then there's that actual post-game thing. It goes so big so many times. I'm saying
It's more than Attack on Titan.
Attack on Titan.
pretty much. I truly thought like, oh, this Dark Fal's is spot. This is the last one, and then there's like 3 more chapters.
I remember
after
watching
that.
a little bit of Attack on Titan, actually. I completely
I
forgot I did, but I did.
Thank you, because it felt like I didn't hear as much about it, and I'm glad that I didn't know how it hit you. So I'm glad to hear that.
Like, I heard about this one from Rhett, from Iffy, from After 5. Like the people that I knew were gonna like play this game, all loved it.
Cool. All right, I need to do this one.
Okay, so that's my number 8.
All right, we have another listener list.
This
comes from a longtime friend of mine, a recent community member, and absolute maniac when it comes to playing video games. Very good.
Yes.
Our good pal Toad.
Oh.
Right, so just listed here is Game of the Year. I don't think that this first one is going to surprise anybody. John, go ahead and get your tally ready. Number 1 is UFO 50. And Toad says, I don't think there's any contest here for me. One game with 50-plus quality retro experiences, complete with challenges and built-in timers, tons of secrets, and a lot of thought in each game's movement and smaller details. Just make this one a clear winner. Having a fresh 50 retro gaming experience was something I didn't know I needed, but they did it almost flawlessly.
Ooh,
the second game,
Toad is the most qualified to list this because they got 50 cherries.
50
They played all of 50 games.
Finished every game.
Incredible.
And
mastered them.
Mastered them. And it's all on tape. Toad did it.
crazy.
I did.
All on
I recorded
stream,
it on my
so
VCR.
Every cherry is accounted for with video proof.
VHS set complete, baby.
Insanity. Big congrats on that.
Thank
that
you.
is just so insane to me. For a while, I was
I
wondering.
think that was about 300 hours.
For a while, I was wondering who's gonna do it. Is it gonna be Poncho or is it gonna be Toad? Because they were both kind of gunning there for a while, and then Toad just zoom.
Some of the cherries are so evil to me.
Oh, they seem so awful.
I'm so scared of Bug Hunter. That's one of the last ones. I managed to clear Bug
Hunter.
Hunter, but I haven't even tried on my first run yet.
Me and Bug Hunter are never gonna get along, and I'm just resigned to that fact.
Yeah. I don't even think I'm gonna beat all 50 because of that fucker.
Yeah.
I'll
That's
tell
the
you,
one.
I only put like 2 hours into it. I played like a while and was like, this is impossible. I can't do anything in
Yeah,
this.
that's where I'm
This
at.
Yeah,
this is the worst.
That's where I'm at. I can't get over the hump.
And then
Double.
I beat like the first one, and then like everything clicked, and then I think my second try I beat all 3 stages, and it's like, oh, okay.
Happy not changing. I'm down there.
I'm down there. It doesn't have to be fucking easy because it's a roguelike, and I can eat those for breakfast.
Roguelike.
I eat my poop for breakfast. I'm down there.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
No, second game listed. Planet Attrition. Anybody heard of that? Anybody heard of that one?
Yeah, I think somebody made it.
Somebody made the video game. Can you believe it? It's the kind of arcade game I crave. Quick, fast-paced, great bomb/point system, complex in its simplicity. I love the wiggle of the Spudarians as they attempt to destroy your planet. Masterful! More high score runs, you cowards!
Awesome.
I endorse that one.
Probably makes games that would be good UFO 50 games.
I was gonna say,
I think
you
that's a good that is quite the compliment.
That
I'm
is a
happy with
great
that.
compliment.
came in
Yeah.
second to literally
True, though.
50 other games.
Yeah, I came in second. I cannot complain about that placement. And the third is XCOM Warhammer 40k Rosigma. Definitely sunk the most time into this. It gets updated almost daily with fixes and such, and has a huge content updates every couple weeks or so. The dev team is really on point. XCOM has the puzzle good brain feels and never is quite the same no matter how much time I sink into it. Toad plays XCOM a lot. If anybody is, I'm going to trust opinions on classic XCOM.
Oh, so this is the classic.
Oh,
XCOM,
this is
like Enemy Unknown.
Classic XCOM. This
Yeah.
is not new baby XCOM. This is
Like, oh, where is
this is
this is a mod.
this is a mod. Yeah, 40K Sigma is a mod for the original XCOM game. So yeah,
The original.
like the original XCOM games are really freaking hardcore.
They're really freaking hard. I have a friend that's been playing them.
Honorable mentions go to Rika Furude Simulator 25 and
Beautiful.
Her Lullaby.
Oh, Toad.
Love getting Her Lullaby shout outs all these years later.
Toad is very good at playing small games.
God, dude,
Very nice.
like Toad is a prolific NES speedrunner. One of the literally one of the most, like somebody did a spreadsheet once to kind of find who was the most prolific speedrunner, and Toad, I believe, was close to or at the very top of that list.
I was
Holy
at first.
shit.
I think I got
Him
beaten
and like
since.
White
But
Hat 84 are both like just neck and neck of just like, here's a game you can put it in front of me and I'll just master it. It's like, okay.
So fucking cool.
Yeah.
So fucking cool.
John,
oh,
I need a number
ready?
8.
very kind,
Eight.
everybody.
Eight.
Thank you for the
Eight.
kind
Eight.
words.
8,
Eight.
5, 0,
Eight.
UFO
Eight.
50.
Okay.
Another.
UFO 50.
So I wanted to be a little shit and like list like Magic Garden or something.
I mean, I would take that.
Yeah, that's
Deserved.
acceptable.
Magic
Um,
Garden is a blast, dude.
I think I was a little like grouchy for a little bit because I think like part of my take with this one is that I don't think this is great. I don't think UFO 50 is greater than the sum of its parts. I think it's exactly equal to the sum of its parts, and that its parts are excellent.
Yeah,
I think
fair.
I think that in a just world, like these could be released individually as
Sure.
like as like $3 to $10 games, and they'd all do great. But it exists as a package because that's the only way they said as much. That's the only way you can sell games like this.
Yeah.
which
I saw
sucks.
some crazy.
That
stat the other
hurts
day
a
for
little
how many
bit,
games
yeah.
are being released every day on Steam.
Oh, it's
like,
nuts, dude.
It's like hundreds at least. It might have been
It's-
thousands.
It's a lot. And it's just like so like
That hurts a
part
little
of
bit.
engaging with the game is just like, boy, I wish.
But it's
I wish we lived in a
understandable.
different world.
Yeah.
And I almost wanted
hold
to like
on.
single out a specific game to kind of.
Like, gaming these days is so much, like, wildly different than it was 20 years ago. Like, gaming is so mainstream now that, like, AAA companies have made it very specific in a way that, you know, where you see all the big news and all the big hype comes from all the big games, and then you got the console wars going at each other, and then PC comes into it. It's all very exhausting, and I do think a lot of gaming now is just there's so many games happening that it's kind of impossible to hawk to yo, what's up, CVG? Thank you for the raid. Welcome everybody. How y'all doing today? Just pausing the podcast for the moment to explain my 2 cents on what's happening here. About the games. And the Game of the Year Socks Makes People Sexy Game of the Year podcast. And they just mentioned UFO 50 selling a 50 game package because games like that just don't sell individually anymore. And it's true. Like, you're not going to get a Nintendo game, you know, sold separately unless it's more like The Messenger, which has a extended amount of content compared to any, like, old school game where it's, like, small and, a little bit easier and more, like, digestible than a new AAA title or something along those lines. So it's unfortunate to hear that, but I'm still glad they go through stuff like that. I think it's important that they actually go through stuff like that.
Make that point.
Yeah, I
But
get
then
that.
then I kind of looked down like my list, And this is going to be the year of like collection picks for John.
Ooh.
So I'm picking UFO 50, but with the context that I am giving myself the freedom to list many games as like because I did a lot this year where instead of like zeroing in on one game like Tales of Fantasia or whatnot for 3 weeks, I had huge binges with like a spread of games. And UFO 50 was really, really fun for that. And it also got me to do that with other games, other kinds of games.
Oh, that's fun. Okay, I like that.
So I really like it for that. I don't know if any one of these would quite crack it. My favorites are probably Velgress,
Yes.
Overbold, and Magic Garden so far.
Yes, all good.
Love Barbuda.
Oh, Barbuda's so good. Just to map that game out yourself, I think feels.
It does.
I made a
Polly's
beautiful screenshot.
100% right here.
Screenshot map,
I
but
got
I
all
was
3
like,
bats into the finale.
I was just kind of mapping it out in
grid?
blocks on graph paper.
Yep.
Just like,
I tried drawing it.
She did the grid paper, classic.
It was just a fun game to kind of like piece together and then run
It
it
was.
back when you finally
It
got
really
figured
was.
out. It felt so good.
Hold on a second.
Oh my god, it felt really good. Overbold feels amazing.
Barbuda is definitely a classic feel of figuring things out for yourself. I shot every room. That's really cool, though. Oh, did he? Oh, he put in oh my god, that's really cool. He mapped the whole thing himself. That's really cool. But you're right in what you're saying here, in that, like, it's one of the best figure it out yourself games in a long time. Barbuda. Like, there's a certain satisfaction when figuring out Barbuda. I didn't actually speedrun Barbuda until I figured all of the secrets out. That includes the ladder and, like, the money room on the right side and stuff like that, and, like, the mimic chest and stuff. It was a blast to do that. That's why I really... And as you heard earlier in the podcast, how I mentioned that UFO 50 was the nostalgia trip I really needed. Like, once I speedran Mortal 2, there was no going back at that point. The game hooked me at that point, and I kind of started going faster to cherry everything so I could get to the speedrun a little bit. Because originally I was just like, I'm just going to play this casually for months. And it kind of started that way, but then, like, some games just became really fun to speedrun, and all of them in their own right are fun in one way or another for me. Even Bug Hunter, which I understand a lot of people hate. You got everything. Yeah, I don't have to get the cherry. Yep, it is great. Bi-weekly dungeon crawler show on RGL. Yep, whereas Barbuda would hit a lot of my buttons in a good way. Absolutely, absolutely.
Amazing. Velgress feels amazing.
Oh,
Again, I Mooncat was really cute.
Mooncat seems
love
amazing.
Mooncat.
Like, I really want. I think
Love
that's
it.
probably the next one I'm digging into.
Ooh.
Yeah. If there's one complaint here, it's that I think there's very little like narrative gumption here. Like this is not these are not games that are going to try to make you feel anything.
Nah.
They are fun.
They're
I
not
think
heavy
Danger's
on
the only one where I
story.
kind of was irked by that because that has a good amount of writing, and the writing didn't do anything for me. So I was like,
Like, a lot of these, compared to old school stories, are a lot better. In ways that they tell stories that aren't just man saving woman, knight saving princess kind of things. They actually tell a lot of stories about, like I think Otakawa's journey tells you the journey of the, like, hunters coming to kill all the seals or something like that, and why that's a bad thing. There's a lot of greater talk in a lot of these games about the importance of love and friendship over, like, capitalistic gains and stuff. The messages are much better in UFO 50, but there's not a whole lot that are, like, deep, because again, it's supposed to be more themed on older games, and most of the older ones didn't have, like, great stories. Brimstone has a pretty solid story. I don't think it's amazing, but it's fun enough for the RPG that it is. Oh yeah, like Fist Hell and Combatants need help.
They are game dev ass video games.
These are game dev as video games.
Yes, yes.
I feel like this unlocked something in me, and now I'm kind of in the mode of just like, oh my god, I love little fun games. I love little fun games.
It's one of the main reasons I made Planet Attrition is because like I got back into this mode. It's like I just want to zero in on a small, easy to execute.
Thank you, UFO 50.
That I can like make iterative within
the gift
its
that
own
keeps
little
on
game.
giving.
That's how I got back into Love 2D and making little train wrecks. It's just like it's a 1-to-1 just from playing UFO 50. It's like, oh yeah, I love little fun games.
That's really great.
Yeah, so
You know, that might be the biggest thing UFO 50 actually came and did, is bring a big respect and love for shorter games that isn't really around anymore. Now, mind you, they have to shove 50 of them into one incredibly well-priced package, but, like, just listen to y'all get, like, your dev juices flowing, because you had fun playing these other small games brought to you by, like, not a large company. I don't think, like, Mossmouth is necessarily a small one. Spelunky 2 is pretty big. But, like, but to have, like, a game like UFO 50 come out and do as well as it has is, like, it's actually pretty heartwarming in the end. But Dungeon Encounters, which came out a couple years ago, is another developer-ass video game designed specifically for sickos like me. I love it. It's basically wizardry and all, but perspective. Oh, okay. I can see why you'd love that.
This like I'm gonna keep plugging away at this. I love these games, and you know maybe Mini Max will be in the list next year or something. I don't know.
I bet it will.
I'm
Max
having a
is
ball.
really
I think
good.
this is.
Your heart is open.
My heart is open. My heart is open. I got past my kind of damage, and now I'm back.
The
to
shmups
just,
are not very good. Let's just say it.
Let's say,
Yeah.
well, the shmups aren't very good.
The
Yeah,
shmups.
those are the
And
first
you
two I
start with
played.
them.
I started with the shmups.
Yeah.
And I was like,
that's not a smart move. Like the shmups are very like kind of Euro jank, kind of
Way too punishing.
I think Alphasaur's hat might be
too
good.
punishing.
Alphasaur's hat
Euro
seems-
jank.
Yeah, that was fine. I specifically.
All right. I don't think Caramel is too bad. I think Star Whisper is probably a better shmup than Caramel, but I think Caramel is a nicer casual experience, especially with the way you can use your picture to stun things so that the enemies aren't so bad. I don't think either of the shmups are groundbreaking by any means, but I don't think they were necessarily bad. Caramel could probably God damn it. Caramel could probably add a little bit more to it to make it. I like the photo aspect of that, and you can actually like take pictures of the enemies, and at the end of the game it shows you which enemies you take pictures of. I like that. And it's honestly UFO or Caramel is mostly front loaded in difficulty. I find it to be easier the more I got into the later stages. Yeah, this is one of the exactly. Like once you get past the first stage, I feel like you can do a lot better. Just because the difficulty tones down a little bit, but once you get the camera like mechanic understood, it helps a lot. Star Whisper is just a pretty typical kind of generic bullet hell, but with a really fun scoring system. They did do a good job on the scoring system, but it's still at the end it's just really a bullet hell, with some interesting bosses. It's also very, very short in perspective, but again, it mid loads the difficulty all in stage 3. Like once you get, like, it's pretty easy to get through the first through 2 stages. You get through 3, after that it's not too bad. And I didn't hear y'all say anything about Seaside Drive yet, but I did pause it early because I was very curious about this subject, as I am a shmupper myself. I don't necessarily disagree with this take. I don't think they're bad, but I just don't think they're, like, special. Like there are just solid shmups out there that are pretty good to play, like Dragon Spirit. Amazing music, pretty below average shmup in itself, but you know, the music's great, and it can kind of fall in that range, and I'm okay with that. Like, I like Dragon Spirit. It's not a very good shmup, but I like playing it. I think Caramel kind of falls under where Dragon Spirit does, and Star Wasper falls more under, just a more rough version of said shmup. More bullet hellish. Not necessarily horrendously bullet hellish, but enough to make it tough. But I don't necessarily disagree with this. I think the shmups could do a little bit of lifting. I really do think Caramel is a pretty solid, okay to solid shmup that's not too hard. The problem is a lot of people don't like shmups, so it's hard to, like if you don't like the genre going into it, there's not much that's gonna sway you with UFO 50. Except maybe Seaside Drive. Seaside Drive's pretty great.
What do you mean Caramel having
Caramel is kind of stupid.
being so cute and having no checkpoints?
And then the Xanac, like, whatever it's called.
Yeah.
That's like.
I love that's immediately what is said after I unpause.
Everything, it's just like, beginner shmup dev. But everything else, I feel like, kind of comes together really strongly. I haven't.
And to further on Caramel, I agree with the kind of stupid take. It's just that there's no point to not have checkpoints. There's a little bit of manufactured old school difficulty in some of these that aren't necessarily in a good way. Checkpoints missing isn't a good one. What's up, Blank? For the good luck? Checkpoints not being there is an issue. It is. Like, if all the old school things you'd complain about in old games that you want to be actually changed, like, I understand Barbuda's hidden things way more than I understand putting in a lack of checkpoints. But I also feel the reason they put in a lack of checkpoints into Caramel is because of how you spell UFO to get the cherry in that game. I think that was on purpose. But it shouldn't have been a thing. It's funny thing is Gradius has checkpoints you wish you didn't have because it gets too hard.
Found any that I didn't like. So yeah, UFO 50. More people are gonna list it.
It's going to keep coming up.
It's probably, yeah.
Good
No,
stuff.
straight.
Good stuff. We have another audio list.
Ooh, audio.
Shit,
list.
wait.
What?
All right, so that was Toad, that was me, that was Polly.
Yeah.
It was Brawlef. Was it 5? And Poncho. Okay, so yeah, we're up to 5.
Is it Brawlif? I thought it was Braylif.
Crazy.
We're pretty early.
I just don't want to miss
We
it.
are
pretty-
literally only up to our number 8s, and UFO 50 has 5 entries already.
Last year, the winner had 5 picks.
Yeah.
The top one of the thing. So
That's nuts.
yeah.
All right, let's also put something in perspective here. UFO 50 has 50 games in it that are quality made. There's going to be a big reason why that's number 1. It's almost a little unfair because it's 50 games in one of, like, quality games. I think that it has to at least be said here.
So, We got an audio list coming right for your ear holes. This one coming from another newish friend. There's so many new faces this year. It's always exciting for me, as I always like kind of hearing these lists coming from new people. Not that it's not. I'm not throwing dirt on the people that contribute every year, obviously. But it's
It's okay.
We said we'd
Polly.
end this if Don didn't submit a list.
Exactly.
You don't want them old ass
we
submissions.
love
We
hearing
get
from
it.
our regulars, but it's always fun, like as somebody that's kind of like been here since the beginning.
You've
Man,
been here the whole time?
I've been here the whole time. Can you
Ollie's
believe
been
it?
here the
Who's
whole
been here since the
time.
beginning. Just kind of see more new faces still coming in with voices. So here is somebody that we played a whole shitload of Phantasy Star Online 2 with. So this still actually just goes back quite a way. Like 12 years at least.
Oh.
Yeah, it's our good pal Kit.
Ooh, Kit Cloud
and
Kicker.
Here's her list in 3, 2,
What?
1. Play.
Hello, all you sexy socks-wearing people who
Thank you.
are sexy because of it, or the other. It's Katrina, or Kit,
I did get
or
socks
Cat,
for.
or both. And these are my picks for Game of the Year, in no particular order.
Gonna be Kit.
So let's get going then, shall we? Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Oh.
I'm pretty sure this game is one of the main reasons I wanted to get a PS5 last year, and I'm very glad my boyfriend decided to spoil me with one. This game is also how I learned the PS5 does a countdown with pre-ordered games. That was a little bit of torture, but worth it. Rebirth continued to deliver the same quality gameplay I enjoyed in Remake, and it just had more of my favorite characters in there.
Nice.
Really all of whom they did justice for. Heck, I'm currently having to reconsider my favorite main characters. Aerith held the crown for decades, but Yuffie is coming up fast with her fun energy. The story stayed mostly faithful, with some fun surprises. And the music. The music. I grew up on this soundtrack, and hearing some of my favorite tracks brought actual tears to my eyes. As soon as I heard the weapon theme come on, I had to pause and put down my controller just to listen and cry. A lot.
I don't blame her. That
I
Final
am kind of pissed I couldn't bring my overpowered characters from Remake into Rebirth,
Ha.
but they overhauled some of the upgrade systems.
Like Nice. I played a ton of Final Fantasy VII growing up, and I really haven't played it much since. But the music still hooks me hard, a lot. I really like the music in Final Fantasy VII, and it's like a nostalgia cocaine bump every time I hear it.
So I suppose it makes sense. I guess I can forgive them for denying me my curb stomping of the giant snake.
It's fucked
Much
up.
like Remake, Rebirth made grinding levels next to impossible. I do kind of miss that old school grind, you know?
I can feel
But
that.
speaking of grind, Final Fantasy XIV. Yes, I'm still playing this. I'm even streaming it now.
Nice.
My family and I love this game. It just came out with a new expansion, Dawn Trail, which is just a tropical vacation that goes awry. I actually took a week off from work to play this expansion during pre-release week. There's a good cast of characters, and voice talent brought in from literally around the world, as the story actually takes place in basically Mexico and the southwestern U.S. For fuck's sake, it's got Erica Mendez in it. Erica Mendez! Anyways, between the introduction of female Rothgar, aka Lion Gals, and the bosses of the first and fourth normal raids, the furry community is eating very well in Dawn Trail. There's also been the addition of some very nice and sleek-looking cyberpunk areas that have any tech heads excited. I know Iffy's been a huge fan. That's right. Iffy name drop. Deal with it. Monster Hunter Wilds. Now I know what you're thinking. How the heck is a game that's set to release next year in this year's Game of the Year? They released a beta on console, which is already amazing, and it left an amazing impression.
Apparently.
And it's got my two partners now saving up for their own PS5s.
That's
Wilds feels
amazing.
very much like a sequel to Monster Hunter World, which was on my list last year, and just takes some of World's best mechanics to the next level. The addition of a riding companion that lets you wield two weapons is a major game changer. I know Rise had a riding companion, but it didn't let you have two weapons. Now I can be a hunting horn wielding support man with a heavy bowgun. DPS is damage mitigation. I'm a little excited. I am going to sneak in an honorable mention to Star Rail, as they've added some goodies that I'm hearing good things about. But I just haven't had the spoons to slip back into a gacha game lately. But I'm hearing great things, so check 'em
Gotcha.
out, I guess.
Oh, also to point a bit to my own list here, I probably would have changed it by the end of the year. I probably would have went more with more honorable mentions. But honestly, it's UFO 50, and then in second place is ASDF2, Rika Furude, Planet Attrition, and XCOM. Like, it's pretty just, like, there. Like, that was the second half of my year, was all those games. And her Lullaby, of course. That was a strikingly emotional experience. UFO 50 and 9 other games. What's up, Poncho? Let's continue.
But yeah, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Final Fantasy XIV Online, and Monster Hunter Wilds. Nothing terribly exotic here. I'm a simple console-playing gal that just has fun in her wild fantasies. I'm done now.
Excellent.
Thanks so much, Scott.
Good stuff.
That Monster Hunter beta was like an event.
Yeah,
I've never seen such a loud.
I've never seen a beta receive that kind of
Yeah.
reception. It like she said, it literally got the same kind of reception as like a full game, basically. Like
It
people.
may have gotten more of reception than the full game will get.
Yeah, that's kind of weird. Oh, that's unfortunate. I don't want to think about that. I don't
That's
want that to
true.
be the case.
I'm sure we're gonna be hearing about that for like a month when it comes out.
At least, I mean, and hey, like in 2025, 2024, or whatever, a month when you're to still be hearing about a game,
Yeah.
that's probably pretty good. Given the
The
internet's
Monster Hunter fans
attention
love
span.
them Monster Hunter.
Oh,
they
yeah.
have,
Yeah.
they don't seem to be messing those up at least.
Yeah.
That's really
I
nice.
wasn't a big fan of Monster Hunter.
All right, Rhett, I do believe you have another listener list for us.
Yes, this comes in from Azalea. Number 1, we've been hearing about this franchise for a very long time. Number 1, Final Fantasy III original Famicom release.
Fuck yeah.
Hey,
We've
there
heard
you
of
Whoa.
I want to say it's Azalea. But yeah, Final Fantasy 2 and Final Fantasy 3 on Famicom on our
That's
list.
amazing.
That's
go.
baller as hell.
I love how big and ambitious this game feels. I can see
I
how
like
it
3 a
crystallized
lot.
and set the tone for much of the series going forward, and it really feels like a classic. To me, this game... I know. To me, this game excels at exploration and its sense of adventure. The dramatic pacing and set pieces are great, and you have things like vehicles, hidden areas, and special job interactions that make the maps feel alive and multifaceted.
Awesome.
Number 2, Rivals of Aether 2. It's special to have a fighting game come out that is so directly conversant with its audience in the FGC to the point where even its business model is partly based on tournament organization. This game hit all the right spots for a platform fighter, and it's had a lot of pull from the get-go. I'm really excited to see where it goes in the future.
Sure.
Number 3, Toho 6, the embodiment of Scarlet Devil.
Oh,
Buddy, bringing it back.
Fuck yeah.
I've been getting reacquainted with the mainline Toho games this year, starting with the first one I ever tried. I love Toho's idiosyncratic presentation and atmosphere to bits, particularly its almost surreal and impressionistic dialogue. This game has some of my favorite bullet patterns of any shmup, and it's still putting the screws to me with its final stage.
Oh God, yeah.
damn. I like to see a
That game is
Toho in
literally
here.
like the
Fucking
definition
awesome.
of hit stage 4, game starts stomping nuts.
Fucking love. EOSC was my first one, and I went back to it a little while ago and fucking loved it.
Yeah, that game's great.
Tohos are
Is that
scary.
it from
Cool.
Azalea?
Great picks, Amelia.
Yep.
All right, well, I guess I will kick things off with number 7s then. What do you say?
Let's go, Polly.
Numbers.
All right, this is the lucky number. Let's see how lucky it is. So I'm kind of an easy sell sometimes. So if you just like put a thing in front of me that I already like and just make it pretty in the right ways, I'm probably going to enjoy it.
Polly's easy. You
So
heard
my
it
number
here.
7 is Persona 3 Reload.
Oh,
Oh, cool.
Yeah, Persona 3, I think it's no secret to anybody that knows me or has heard me talk
Persona
about this series
3.
at this point. Persona 3 to this day remains my favorite Persona game. Like,
Nice.
flaws and all, I just really like that game's atmosphere, the story of that world, and I've talked multiple times in the past about how that game and The Answer are significantly and specifically related to my mother passing, so I won't belabor that point here anymore. Reload is just a nicer, more modern Persona 3 with a lot of tweaks that a lot of the tweaks get rid of a lot of the downtime in the original has, because a lot of that calendar in that original game and FES and Persona 3 Portable, like, there wasn't a lot going on, so I feel like they kind of tried to smooth that out a lot more. Like, it always kind of felt like there was more going on month to month in this game than was in the original. And despite the fact that there's more stuff, it's just a much faster game to play.
Nice.
It has just the right amount of quality of life upgrades. Yukari is looking so fucking fine, and man, see, you'd think everybody, I guarantee everybody's just like, it's got to be Mitsuru, right? That's who Polly. No, Yukari just ticks all the right buttons for me for some reason, and she just do be looking real good in this version. This version is like nicer than Persona 3 in a lot of ways. Like, it does take away some of the teeth of the combat. It's a prettier, gussied up version of a story that I already liked. Like, it's the mechanics that they rework. They do so in a lot of ways where it's just like, oh, we're gonna Atlas this up by, we're gonna add a lot of cool things, but we're gonna forget to balance the game around them. So, like, you get these crazy ass theurgy attacks where it's just like, y'all, like, you didn't really redesign anything else around me having these attacks that could do like half of a boss's health bar. Even on the hardest difficulty, the game is kind of like a pushover.
Okay.
But I do hear that the Answer DLC, which I am so glad that they made, because the Answer gets so much shit, and I loved the Answer, and I'm glad that they have included it
We
as
all
a
love
DLC
AI.
for this remake, and that they didn't remove the teeth.
Talking
Like,
about practice.
it's still, like, the enemies are still just gigantic dickheads that can block or dodge reliably their weaknesses, so it's annoying as hell. Igus still does not have access to the compendium in the same way, so she still has to kind of get her personas the old-fashioned way. She can't just buy them. So they kept a lot of that stuff, and again, I think that Persona, like this is just a remake that feels really respectful to the original game as it can be, while also modernizing it with concessions that, like, a lot of people playing games these days, or a lot of people that are coming at it from Persona 5 and Persona 4, aren't gonna want to get their face punched in the same way that original game can do at times. It's still got its moments, but all in all, I think it's just a lot prettier and a bit more digestible and approachable, I guess. So,
Nice.
yeah. I think Persona 3
Sounds good.
Reload's pretty rad.
I never did Personas.
Killer. That's awesome, Polly.
All right.
It's really cool. It's really cool when a series just like nails it on their first entry.
The third version of the first entry.
Third version of the first entry. Not the fourth, like, because they have Persona 3, Persona 3 FES,
right.
Persona 3 Portable, and now we got it right with Persona 3 Reload.
So, to be clear, they did the DLC for The Answer.
Yes.
Have they done FEMC yet?
No. My bet is they're going, like, because this is such an Atlas thing where it's like, we released the game and now we're going to release the newer version, like Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, where we add a bunch of other shit. I am going to guarantee that there is going to be a Persona 3 reloaded that adds the female main character, and then you have to buy the Answer DLC again.
The DLC being separate again would be just egregious.
Chef's kiss, really.
I mean, making you buy the whole game again would be egregious.
Listen,
and
it's egregious that this game was $70 on launch, okay? I got it for less than half, because this game went on sale pretty damn fast.
I can't imagine why.
It was not $70 for very long at retail in
Never
brick and
pay
mortar.
$70.
I will never pay $70 for a video game. Ever! Even if I like, it's the most, it's the game that I want the most in the world. I will never pay.
Contra
70.
5.
Give me a break. I
Wait for it.
regret paying $40 for that.
No, okay, but it's a good one.
Devil May Cry 2.
I'm still not gonna because
No,
you
it's-
know
that's
what?
gonna
I
be
can just
worth
go
it.
buy Iron Meat for $15, and it's pretty good too. So I can wait.
Okay.
Like, I don't know. I think Contra's dead, and I think Way Forward killed it, but they're still gonna try to trot out a fucking shitty.
See, I'm
hardcore
still in
remake.
Contra 4 was good land. Don't kill my buzz.
Contra 4 was good, but you know, man, Operation Galuga is got to be one of the shittiest Contra games that I've ever seen people like jizz themselves
I
silly over.
can't believe you're talking
I've
down to my
never-
game of the year like that.
Ah, damn. Anyway, we've got another listener list.
I've never
coming
played that
up.
one. I know how
Sim
much
on
you
Earth.
hate it, though, Polly.
What you got, John? What does Last Zim on Earth have to say?
Hey, Sox community. 2024 hasn't exactly been the best year for the world, to put it mildly, and it wasn't exactly the best for myself. Yeah, getting us out of the
Yeah.
escapism mode. Oh God! Oh God! The world's encroaching.
Get back in.
However, I'm reminded that there are things that keep me going. My list of the top 3 games of the year shows that games are still very much there for me, even in my darkest moments. God, that's a mood. I've enjoyed the majority of what I played this year to varying degrees, but I think my list really represents the cream of the crop with regards to what I played this year. Number 3, Helen's Mysterious Castle. In a hypothetical situation where someone tried to tell me that RPG Maker games aren't worth shit, this wonderfully crafted gem is what I point to as a rebuttal. An ingenious combat system where RNG is thrown out in favor of numbers that make it clear how much damage will be dealt or received depending on it. Attack and defense stats and abilities used, along with a well-balanced challenge.
I like
Still
that.
leaves plenty of leeway to figure out the strategies that are best suited for each combat encounter. Add on a simple yet effectively told story that doesn't overstay its welcome, and you have one of the great RPG Maker gems. This is my favorite RPG
Yeah,
Maker game.
it's probably
amazing.
still my favorite RPG Maker game. It's so good.
I love it to bits. It's just this is
Damn.
me talking, but yeah, great pig Zim. Number 2, Undertale. Yeah.
Undertale, okay.
All
Never
right.
played it still.
Yes, it really did take me this long to get to fully play through this beloved modern classic. And it's a modern classic for a reason, with its playful use of RPG language to tell its story in a way that simply wouldn't be possible in another medium. An instantly iconic cast of characters, a great soundtrack, and some creative scenarios make it easy to see why this game took the Sox community by storm back in 2015.
No, don't use years.
2015.
And while I would wonder if this would hit any differently for me if I had played it back then as opposed to in the year of our Lord 2024, I can't deny that Undertale had the impact it did for a reason. Yeah.
Oh, maybe
Fucking love Undertale.
Maybe we're failing,
You saved me
MDI.
there.
It's on
That
us.
acronym for Year of Our Lord.
Number 1, Final Fantasy VII. There are some people
All-timer list
This
here.
is like the most all-time list ever.
This is incredible. There are some people that will tell you that Final Fantasy VII is the most overhyped, overrated game of all time. The fact
Sure.
that it's topping my list makes it pretty obvious I don't agree with those people. I think that maybe was true in like 2006.
Yeah.
And at this point, people just play the remake and they don't play the old crusty PS1 game.
Yeah.
It's like Ocarina of Time. It's like it's
Oh,
time.
those two games.
Its
every
time
Game
has
FAQs
passed.
Game FAQ's best game of all time battles would always be those two.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
now it's like whatever new Final Fantasy.
Undertale?
Undertale did win one, but also Breath of the Wild has like thoroughly stolen the wins from Ocarina's sales. Unjustly, of course.
Unjustly. Yes.
All right, back to the list. There is an argument to be made that it's the most flawed game of my top 3. I wouldn't say it has my favorite combat system in the series, for instance. The materia system, while good for customization, doesn't really leave characters with any distinct mechanical identity. What Final Fantasy VII does have is heart and soul, with an incredibly memorable and rightfully beloved cast of characters, a story that is as idiosyncratic as it is messy, and a visual style that is both of its time and iconic. While I've been familiar with the game for 20 plus years from watching my brother play it, this was my first time playing it from beginning to end, and the game's ending still hits as hard today as it did back in 1997. The game was a shining example of what Square was capable of back in the 90s at the peak of their powers, and they arguably still haven't been able to recapture this lightning in a bottle.
I was actually annoyed
Yeah.
that the end didn't explain more when
The
I
3
first beat it.
turbo mega super bangers. Great pick, Sim.
And we're the podcast that thinks that easily Helen's Mysterious Castle stands with Undertale and Final
Yeah,
Fantasy VII.
yeah. Like,
of
we are
course,
the
yeah.
ones. We
Yeah,
are
no
those
doubt.
bitches. We are them bitches.
Absolutely.
Like, this isn't just 3 classics. or 2 classics and 1 RPG Maker game. It's 3 classics.
Yeah, it's 3 classics. These all stand together.
Oh my god. Great pick, Sim.
Rhett,
Oh, is it my turn?
it's
Yeah, it's your
your
number 7.
turn, number 7.
Okay, so this is the last time I will say this is a game I considered not making the list,
It's better than Tevi.
and I thought John is gonna kill me if I don't list this one. My number 7 is Utawareru Mono, Prelude to the Fallen. I don't know how to say that one.
Utawareru.
Utawareru.
Okay, a little better.
There you go.
Y'all know what I mean. Underwater Ray Romano.
Underwater Ray Romano.
Underwater Ray
Romano.
Ramanama Numanomino.
Nailed it.
Okay. Go for it.
So the original reason I wasn't going to put this on my list is that the ending really
The best part? The best part of it? You
whipped
mean
me in a weird way.
not the kind of mushy middle. You mean the best part was what went for you?
So so it was the ending that was. Well, let's back up a bit. This is a visual novel / strategy RPG, and I actually really like the strategy RPG part of it.
Awesome.
Because I think,
Hold on.
yeah, I played on
Fuck yeah.
the real mode.
Let's see. Utaware Rumono. Is that what it is? Utaware blue 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 blue. Utaware Rumono. Utaware Romano. Underwater Ray Romano. Underwater Ray Romano.
Yeah.
It's still really easy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Jesus.
the main game is baby easy even for me.
It's like story mode and normal.
Yeah.
Because like Twin Swords Boy can like nearly one-shot every boss by the end anyways.
We're almost
Very
past
funny.
the first miracle on the high score list,
I
by
like the
the
strategy
way.
RPG part. I like having the team of characters that you know as characters and not just like faceless, generated
Just
characters. Like
units.
yeah, units in like XCOM or something.
Excuse?
The mushy middle of the visual novel story is a little bit much because, Polly, do you know in Neptunia Rebirth 3
Try hard.
where you would have like a story event and then you would go back to the main hub and you would have like 2 hours of side.
Yeah. See, I
is
like
that-
that shit. I like that shit. Most of the time. Some of it kind of can be bad.
The thing is, though, is like that was an optional thing that happened because all those characters were
Listening
originally
through
DLC.
still
Yeah.
In this game, it's
Troop
just how
waffles.
the main story goes.
This is like a Mary Skelter thing where you go back
Oh.
and down between,
Shout out to
between
Mary Skelter.
dungeons and suddenly, oh god, there's like 27 events. All right.
And they tell you, and you gotta play them. You
Yeah.
gotta play them.
Yeah.
Dumb.
And this the mushy middle of this has a rhythm to it where it's like a war will break out and you'll have like 4 battles in a row with like a little bit of story between each one, and then you'll kind of go back to peacetime and have like 2 or 3 hours of just reading cutesy scenarios. And because it's in a visual novel format, it doesn't tell you how long until something big is going to happen again. It's just, here's the next scene. Oh, here's some flirting. Oh, here's some more flirting. Oh, here's a character getting drunk and there's some flirting.
Oh god, there's like a lot of that, huh?
You can definitely see the remnants of the original version of this being an H game of like
Right.
all of the girls are kind of into the main
Oh good.
protagonist.
So
of the
Oh,
day.
naturally.
You're everyone's dad. It's so good.
Yeah.
Oh,
But yeah, then there is like the last arc where it goes real hard with the story. Like escalates to a point I didn't think it was going to.
That's the shmup.
Like really fully explains
Mega
everything
Man-like
that's
game, I
going on.
can't
Has some
remember.
crazy lore drops, some big final battles, and then the ending whiffed for me originally because I didn't trust this game enough. Because the game told me exactly what was going to happen, and I said, "No, you're messing
It
with
looks
me."
good.
Power of anime, power of love, last minute,
Power of
turnaround.
anime.
Everything's going to be okay. And then it wasn't. The game was very clear what was going to happen.
Look, this is gonna happen. This
Yeah.
very bad thing is gonna happen, and you're gonna
Yeah.
hate it and cry.
But I was so convinced, because there are sequels to this,
Yeah.
that that's not how it's going to go. And then it did.
Oh,
I'm
good.
obviously being as vague as I can here.
Sure.
So I was definitely like shell shocked when the game like fully ended. Like the post credits didn't resolve what I wanted to. I was just like, oh, me and John joked about another visual novel. Like they would never do that ending.
I think I'd said that about Trails.
Yeah.
We joke that this game is like a Trails trilogy with how hard the story goes at the end. I don't know if that's really accurate. I think games can have complete stories in one arc, and it doesn't necessarily need to be compared to Trails.
Sorry.
Doesn't necessarily
Sorry, that's
need
just
to
funny.
be
Yeah.
Okay.
compared to Trails.
But then when I was making my Game of the Year list, this was just permanently stuck in the honorable mentions category, and now it's at number 7 because I went back and I read through all of my screenshots, like at least like 600 of them or something.
How many times did you
Yeah.
cry?
I started crying at the end. When I reread the ending, knowing where it actually goes, then it got me. Then it fucking gutted me.
Mm-hmm.
So I was
Boy,
like,
there's conversations near the end, huh?
yeah, there sure are. So it was when I looked back at the whole journey and I was like, okay, fine, this has to be on the list, even though that's gonna mean pushing something else down. At this point, I've already solved it. Can't be Gal Guardians or Hi-Fi Rush.
Oh,
So
God.
something else has to get cut now.
This sounds like
Fucking
torture.
It's a torturous top 12. So yeah, I enjoyed this game. I'll get to the sequels next year.
Nice.
I'm excited for the sequels too. I'm glad that I recommended you a Rhett flavored 30 to 50 hour character cry at the end game, and it landed.
Character
But I
cry
didn't
at
cry
the
the
end
original
game.
time when I played it. I think
You cried reading the screenshots afterwards.
it was the
Months
weirdest
later.
moment of all time for
It's
me.
like how you
oh,
know it actually got you. That's how you know that
like
it
delayed.
stuck with you.
like a delayed reaction to the trauma.
Yeah.
Honest to God.
That's so good. That's so joyous.
It hurts so
I
much
think-
in the moment you just can't process, and then
I
later when
really
you look
didn't
back,
process that.
when you-
That's how the story goes.
Oh,
There
oh.
are some really good revelations towards like the nature of like the
Lost,
main
like,
trilogy
fifth.
of characters. Yeah,
For a lot of it, I was like, this is the best. This is like the most like affected I could be by like a Fire Emblem story. And then it's like, and then the last like fifth or so, it's like, no, John, this is an early 2000s visual novel. This is not
Yeah.
fucking Fire Emblem.
yeah.
It's got like it's like moments that are definitely pulling from Evangelion, like a number of things like that. It goes really hard. Oh, fuck! I love the Utuaru Umino.
Nice reading there. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Also the blind girl's really cute.
Oh, hey.
There's a lot of cute girls in this
There's,
series.
I mean, given the nature of the original version of this game, there's a lot of cute girls.
No, a lot of cute girls.
And if you go on eHentai, you can look at the original CGs that are actually pretty bad.
I mean, yeah, that's just early 2000s hentai, really. The idea of sex with these characters is always way more fun than the sex ends up being, because the people
Yeah.
writing sex scenes are really bad at sex.
Cecile said the multiple. She played the 2002 version and has all of them unlocked, so we got to read like 3 or 4 of them. And the Toka,
I was gonna say Toka's such a goofy character that you
my
can't
God.
imagine her
Doubles.
being sexual.
she's the best age scene because it's completely silly. It's just
That
ridiculous.
was my moment with Karano Shoujo earlier in the year, where there's a character that's just a literal clown, and it's just like you end up fucking her at some point. It's like,
Yes.
it's like,
Oh, but
what?
clowns
it's like,
are in right now. Have you heard
Clowns-
from Clussy?
I liked her as a character. It's just like I kind of want the sex to be good, because it's just. But then it was like, nah, it's just boring visual novel sex.
Damn.
God, I fucking love this game. Thanks so much. I'm so glad you liked it, Rhett.
It's good.
You're ready for another listener
Rika
list?
Wembanyama.
I got another sitting right here in front of me. The
Antonio's
words are
first
entering my
jersey.
brain as I can speak them out loud if you would like, or I can just like mind them to you.
It's like
I
suddenly
can bring them
Rika's
to you
in
if you want.
Can you
in
mind
a
them to
Spurs
us?
jersey,
Like,
but she
huh?
goes
I
completely
don't
off
know
the
why I chose
screen.
that
It's
specific
just
wording.
her in a
That's the
jersey.
worst wording I could have chosen. It sounds stupid. I'm gonna mind them to you. I'm fucking goofy. I don't know. Anyway, Tengu Gemini has sent us Listener list. How about we read that instead of trying to make it into a goofy bit? I'm goofy.
I fucking die in Kingdom Hearts 2. I get beamed in the fucking head. I fucking die.
Sora, I'm gonna fucking die.
What is happening?
I don't know.
We can't be this crazy. Not
it's
even.
way
Yeah.
too early for this to be happening.
We're still in 7.
We're literally on the 7s. This is 2 hours in. This can't be.
We're
Listener
2.5 hours
list.
in. This is gonna be a
Number
long one.
3, Threads of Fate was a game I started as a stopgap between longer games. And dude, this game has personality out the ass. Ment is an all-time great protagonist, and I will be thinking about her low poly drop kicks for years to come. God, I fucking love Threads of Fate.
Fuck yeah.
This
I
edged
played
out
this
both
one.
Zelda and RZ, 2 games
Fuck
that I
yeah.
was sure would be locked in for Game of the Year when they came out. Yeah, Threads of Fate is such an underrated classic. It has so much damn character, is so much charm.
I don't think I've
It is so fun. Absolutely a
Threads of Fate.
square jam from back in the day that is so overrated.
Maybe I need to look at it.
Number 2, something that I would say to all of you, thank goodness you're here.
PlayStation game.
Thank goodness you're here is the game with the most juvenile sense of humor that I've played all year, and I am extremely here for it. It is incredibly British in all the best ways. Dick jokes aplenty in this short slap-former. And
Platformer.
number 1, I thought we would be hearing about this one sooner than
I
we
can't
are.
believe this is the first mention.
The first mention of Balatro.
Oh yeah, okay.
Balatro has taken over my life. If I'm sitting
Balatro,
around
I haven't
doing
played
nothing
it.
for more than like 10 minutes, I will begin thinking of Balatro Joker synergies. Easily my most played game of the year. Damn, my productivity is in shambles. In a year packed with RPGs I desperately wanted to play, not a one made it to my list.
I don't
Video
play
games
any
are so
poly.
cool.
Video games
Absolutely.
are cool.
We have one Balatro and one Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth.
That Balatro is shocking me. This is one I really was expecting to hear like 3 times.
Yeah,
by now,
I didn't even
please.
think
It's
about
a
that.
low TV game. I'm rooting for it. Represent.
Absolutely.
Very
This
surprised.
is a game that I haven't got yet because I know if I get it, I'm in trouble.
Oh, there you go.
Productivity in the toilet.
Yeah, right in the toilet.
I've got it on my phone. I've been meaning to play it.
Right in the toilet, Sora.
I took a big old goofy turd right in the toilet.
old goofy dump, Sora.
Gosh.
Have you ever taken a dump so big you can
literally feel
your
intestines unfurl? Don't tell Sora about your dumps. That's for my ears only. You know that. That's our arrangement.
Gore. John! Let's stop talking about Goofy's number 2s and let's hear your number 7.
Okay.
Red is clocked out.
Okay, so the most recent arcade game I won CC before this year was oh my god, I can't believe I just zoned out on this.
Did you just literally
Zoned out right as they were gonna
too
say
much-
it.
Goofy done
Holy
dumped it right
shit.
out of your brain.
Oh my god! Luckily, I've got my list.
I know
It's
that
Bots
feeling.
Again, obviously.
Obviously.
That's not my number 7, but
It was so memorable.
That's a gun fucking rules. I think I listed it that year. The only cave game that's the Toaplan. It's their last Toaplan game. It's kind of the last game they made before a bunch of them splintered off, and eventually a lot of them became cave.
Yep.
The only cave game I won CC before now is Mushihime Sama, which I loved. I don't think I loved it quite as much as Batsugun. Mushihime Sama is just like a meat and potatoes shmup. It's just like a nice little journey. Level 3 and 4 are especially gorgeous. I played a bunch of Dodonpachi. I've sampled Ketsui. My basic impression of Cave was just like that they made really solid action games, but something like Dodonpachi doesn't really have the dramatic oomph that I really like in a shmup, where like the final level feels like a final level.
No,
the final boss
it's
feels
a
like a final
technical
boss.
game through and through.
Dodonpachi especially, where there isn't even like a final boss theme.
Great.
I think.
Yeah.
It's so long since I played
But
Dononpachi.
then this year, I played my number 7.
I should throw
I
that one
played
up.
Escaluda.
Escaluda. This one's
I played it for
good.
I played it for 2 weeks straight, and I got the fucking 1cc, and it felt so fucking good.
Wow.
This game goes so hard.
This has got big RPG energy.
This is the cave shmup that gets fucking anime at the end.
Yep.
Oh my god, final boss has 3 health bars. Oh, and that's the second phase. Oh my god, there's like 3 different songs.
Yeah, dude, it literally is a whole ass anime production at the end.
Oh, the final level is like half the game.
Yeah.
It's so good.
That is
and
good.
And it's great action the whole time. This is sort of an entry-level cave game because you're the big mechanical gimmick is that you can slow down time. You can just half the speed of the bullets using a certain resource. And if you let the resource die out, then then the bullets come to double speed. But if you stay in double speed mode for a while, you can build really big chains that give you really good score boosts. So it's a lot
Tragic
of good
Fates,
systems
Elite.
that work really nicely together. So getting good at it is about juggling your slow down time resource and also your bombs, figuring out where to deploy those. It's a fucking cave game, but it's a cave game with really good music and really, really, really good storytelling.
Yeah.
Cave is good at what they do.
I think Esprade is the one that could maybe best it because I'm pretty sure it goes about as hard with the storytelling.
Esprade is very similar. Like it's got the same. I think I prefer Escaluda,
Yeah.
but yeah, Esprade
You
has
would,
a lot
probably.
of similar
You
things
fucking
going
would.
on.
Esprade, I've just seen the opening where like a bot,
I
like
actually have never played
a
either.
little kid is running and trips and drops her toy, and a missile is about to hit her, and then your character shows up in front of her with like a psychic shield, and then the song starts and the level starts. And it's like, okay, yeah, I'm on board.
That's a good start. I like it.
So Esprade is like the big boy shmup version, where
Yeah,
it's really,
it's the
really
big boy
hard.
version. Like it's definitely
So-
more mechanical too. There's definitely a few more things going on mechanically with Esprade.
So I want to play that one, but this is absolutely my favorite cave shmup. It's one of my favorite cave shmups, period.
I
That
hear
isn't
this a
saying
lot.
much.
Escaluda is very like in the circles that I've run in and talked to people with about shmups with Escaluda is consistently brought up as like, yep, that's an all timer.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like,
Maybe I should
there's a
really
ton of
try
great
that
cave
one out
games.
then.
This is the one that's really hitting the John neurons in exactly the right way.
And again,
It's really anime.
it's entry level and accessible in a lot of ways that cave games, like when they start getting up their own ass, aren't.
True.
If you feel like if you can tackle Toho,
Yeah.
Toho on hard mode especially, then you're set.
You are
jump into
good
this.
for Escaluda. Yeah.
You so got this. And
Shmups are its own breed
it's
of
life changing a
hell.
little bit to start clearing arcade games because it hits like nothing else, y'all. Even the easier ones, it hits so good to get an arcade clear.
I get that feeling.
Is one of the best feelings.
I usually
ever.
come
just,
pretty
like,
hard when I get
watch
a
lot of
record
Lord BBH,
or good
and this
PB
guy
that I'm
does
looking
We watched
for.
so much Lord BBH this year.
He just does it casually. Like once he's seeing arcade games is like nothing for him. So it's just like, but like when I am able to do that, like when I am able to finish an arcade game, even if it's like a baby easy one like RoboCop or something, it's like I did that. And it feels real good because this game won
should
it
feel
like
good.
5 quarters from me, but I only gave it 1.
I only gave it one virtual quarter and MAME.
I don't get
Plus, you
it.
have
boy.
tools now like using save states and whatnot to practice levels.
Yeah, you can do a lot of
see-
Helps a
you
lot.
Can really learn a game these
Yeah.
days. in a lot
I
of-
timed it, and Mushihime Sama took me like 12 hours, and Escaluda took me like 14.
That's
which
those are
is very
solid
reasonable.
hours. Yeah, that's totally like that is totally the time that I would put into seeing a game. Like that is more than fair.
Yeah. So I think these games. Oh, my microphone fell down. I got too excited about
Yeah,
Escaluda.
Blowing out your pants here.
Yeah, that's my number 7. Just it's the best shmup I played to the end this year.
That's a damn good one.
Yeah.
I'd say
All
so.
right, we have ourselves another list, and it's audio, which means we can
Oh.
shut up for a while.
Thankfully.
Thank Christ. This one
No
comes
more
in from Fellow.
I'm gonna do an audio
Like
list
bad
next year.
music only
I'm gonna
host
make it a
Cycle
half hour
Heist.
long.
The Maybe the most dadliest dad in the community.
Like,
Yeah.
y'all just take a half-hour break
as
and put me
deadly
on.
as the Toru Umino protagonist.
Exactly. Probably even more so. He's a real dad. He's got all the
That's
kids.
true.
Like, he's got kids and everything. Look at him go.
Beautiful.
Like, what do you got to do to get kids? I mean, good lord.
They just don't know. They're
There's
just like birds.
no figuring it out. Psychic Heist Game of the Year in 3, 2, 1, play.
Hey Soxcast, Psychic Heist here, giving you my top 3 games that I played this year of 2024. Making this really quick and off the cuff. These 3 games are not really in any particular order. I get different things out of all of them. The first one I'm going to talk about is Balatro.
Hey!
Balatro is one of the most addicting and time-consuming video games I have ever played in my life.
Heard that.
It is perfect on those terms. It's also perfect for just being, like, really sexy and satisfying.
Sexy.
And pleasurable. I played this on my phone.
Jesus.
All the little sounds that sort of, chime in at the right time feels so good when you hear the clinking of chips and the shuffling of cards.
The anal vibing, yeah.
I love this game. I have gotten so sucked into this game that I have missed appointments. It's fantastic,
Jesus.
and it, has definitely ruined my life a little bit. Another game that I love this year would be Iron Meat. I was looking for some running and gunning, and talked a little bit with Polly about, hey, I need a recommendation. Polly recommended this one, and I'm glad she did.
Nice.
This game fucking rules. It is such a heavy metal infused type of game. It's got such a really good soundtrack. I love the visuals. I love the boss designs. Everything about this game really was just satisfying and a joy to play. And currently I'm working on my no death run, which is proven to be a challenge, and that's the kind of thing you want out of a Contra like. So loved Iron Meat. And finally, the last game I'm going to talk about is Dodonpachi Daiojo.
Really?
This game is so fucking hard. I can't even
Yeah, it is.
make it past the first 2 stages without dying. And yet I keep coming back to it more and more. I'm very casual when it comes to shmups. Like, I love the genre, but I go online and I see freaks when it comes to this genre, like real shmup heads, and I think of them as gods, and I am just a humble layman when it comes to the genre.
You put
but
the time in, you can do it.
I am
Guaranteed.
so into this game. I'm playing the
Guaranteed.
PlayStation 4 port of it. It's got great features to kind of help, newbies like me get settled in and, try to not die as much. But yeah, fantastic soundtrack. I love all the options that each stage gives you when you're trying to route out and get your high score and just trying not to die. It's one of those games that I think is worth its hype. So there you go. That's my top 3. Hope you all are doing
shit,
well
good
and
shit.
have good holidays, and look forward to
Good choices.
staying
Fun
in
choice.
touch
Fun
with
list.
y'all, and see you in the new year.
Didn't think
Fuck
I'd
yeah.
Bye.
hear Dodonpachi on a list.
Fantastic.
Holy
Fun
shit.
that, another cave shmup ends up.
Yeah, I was thinking
That's
that.
immediately after that.
I
That's
did
so
not
funny.
think so
I
much
wasn't aware, 'cause
Dodonpachi
I go
talk
into
would
these
be
lists completely blind
on
so it's
here.
like, oh, hey, the timing.
Yeah, we did not know John's game.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. So thank you again, PH. What a lovely list. Iron Meat, I did not get to it this year, but I played the demo. I played the demo when it was like a big 3-stage, 3 of 8 stages.
There's been a lot of different games so far.
And that game fucks real hard. It's got such an identity. It's incredible. So
That port of DOJ Dodonpachi
Yeah.
is It's an M2 Shot Triggers release.
Oh
Those
yeah, that's the good
they're
shit.
they're like the super Criterion collection.
Nice.
Yep.
It's like they're premium. You pay a full release for like one or two shmups, and then you get the most loved on packages in the universe with
Yeah, they go
new arrange modes, beautiful recreations of the original arcade version. They're pristine.
Yeah, those are Criterion collection of shmups is literally what I would classify those as. They are so cool.
DOJ and Ketsui are like the most impossibly scary hard games I can think of, but also with like the most beautiful soundtracks in the world. I keep listening to them. Like this has to be one of the best games ever made because no game can have this music without being the best game made. Cool.
All right, Rhett.
Hi.
Do you have another listener list for us?
I do, of course. This comes in from Sayara.
Yo, Sayara, our favorite art bitch. Go ahead, John. Do it. It feels good.
Bitch.
Say it. There you
See?
go.
I love you, Sarah.
Give you a little bit of an Aaron Paul feel, doesn't it?
Oh, here, I can do Aaron Paul. Bitch. That wasn't
that was
Aaron Paul.
Yeah, that sounded just like Aaron Paul. I thought we got Aaron Paul on the show there for a
Oh,
second.
thank you. Okay. Yeah.
Video games.
Nice.
Oh, shit. Oh, God. Oh, my God. I think we're going to have to pause there, though. We are 400 fates in again. This first one has about 30-ish more minutes left. And then we're going to hop in. We're probably going to finish this one tomorrow and then get into the next one. About 400 fates a day seems to be a good amount of the podcast that we're listening to here. And we'll probably finish it off in 4 or 5 Daily Nipahs. Very interesting game choices, honestly. It has been a lovely ride listening to all these games. I knew UFO 50 was going to be in here. I was not expecting Dodon Pachi to by not once but twice be mentioned in here. That Meat game sounded really interesting as a Contra-like. Some hot takes on the shmups in UFO 50. I like it. Just overall, it's been really fun listening to this. Like, genuinely, I'm having a good time. But unfortunately, today, we're already out of the first place running, by the way. We're already out of the first place running. We're already past that, which is kind of insane, to be honest. In 2 more streams, we're going to be already past Crit Kraken spot if we don't get a miracle. And then it starts to, get a little bit broader then. But thank you so much, Polyjon and Rhett, for putting on this podcast. It's been great so far. If you want to download this game, socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io. It's in the top left. If you would like to listen to the podcast, I have the links in chat here. It's also at socksmakepeoplesexy.net/sockscast. You'll be able to find, the Game of the Year 1 and 2, and we also have, wait a minute, did I put Anime of the Year on that list? I think I did. So excuse me for a second here. .net/sockscast. Was this anime? I did do Anime of the Year, which I honestly want to listen to as well, because this is the first year I've really animated, and I even put a list in. I'd really like to hear the end of that. Where is Sockscast Game of the Year Day 1? That's album. That's Album of the Year. Not even Anime of the Year. That's Album of the Year. Oh, goodness. Well, aren't I a nerd? Here's the Day 2 right here. Alright, well, I am, let's see. Editcom podcast. Album of the Year. Album of the Year I did not do, mostly because I don't listen to much music unless it's in a game. So I kind of just don't have the I don't really have enough music knowledge to do anything like that. And I don't know, like, my brain just doesn't do music as an option like games or movies. Like, it just... Like, I've definitely listened to a lot of great music. Maybe if I just sat down and actually thought about it, I could start to piece together some music I really love. But that's it for the Daily Nipah today. Didn't quite make it, but hey, that's okay. Thank you all so much for watching. We'll be back tomorrow. Always up in the morning if you want to come by the stream and come hang out. Again, you can download the game yourself in the top left, socksmakepeoplesexy.itch.io. And it's free, and you can get all the other games there for free, and listen to the podcasts that we're listening to as well. It's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time right now. Thank you so much for watching. Let us know what your Rika Furude explorations are yourself, or if you got any high scores. Like Polly said it, get your high scores in, you cowards. Yes. Get your high scores in. I want to see them. Let's get them in there. I want Planet Attrition high scores and ASDF high scores to run against. But thank you all so much for watching. I appreciate that. Please like and subscribe, but also appreciate that. Positive vibes, y'all, and have a good rest of your day.